but luenyo chiaro ki kany ki bera boma yichielo mo en range jomi mama igunuoyo kora kany. An kimaka para chiel, kimaka piar ba ngwen, adu kimaka libario ka ngwen. Kimaka para chiel.
My name is Chan Sylvia. I was abducted at the age of 13. It was 3 years, 1 day. I remember exactly because I was counting from the age of the 13. And then
Gulu is a district found in the northern part of Uganda. It's about 350 kilometers from the capital city of South Sudan, Juba, and also about 326 kilometers from the capital city of Uganda, Kampala. And the Lord's Resistance Army was started between 1987 when Joseph Kony, the leader of the Lord's Resistance Army, emerged and started a rebel activity. From 1988 up to 2006, so much atrocities were committed by the Lord's Resistance Army. Over 30,000 children were abducted. Some of them returned, some of them died. So many young girls were captured by the rebels and turned into sex slaves.
Anya ner bagret, an kimaka para chiel, kimaka piar ba ngwen, adu kimaka libario ka ngwen. Iduma dere, no age gang kwan, cha pano pradon bet lai dek pra kwan cha biara chiel. Kane kimaka, kimina te matiep. Ma wood word wood cheng wang, beduma dek.
Nó cắt bia này đẹp, mới chè là cái chỉ nôn đa nó ngụt đỏ mà. Anh nhà là cái Lucy, nó thích cái mà parang ngoan. Anh nói cho mà cũng mặc quan này, cái mặc cái gang mà, cái đi vô chả bị xiên mới đi vô.
some of our people whom we were abducted with went to Southern Sudan, others went to DRC Congo. I was abducted when the rebels came to our village and we were running with my sister. She was shot by the rebel and the rebel came and then slaughtered her with a panga when I was seeing. So I was very traumatized. Joseph Kony was the LRA commander. He was the one leading all this.
2006, the situation changed when the peace talks started in Juba, South Sudan, between the government of Uganda and the Lord's Resistance Army. And they move away from northern Uganda into South Sudan, and they move into the Democratic Republic of Congo. And as I talk right now, the LRA are actually in Central African Republic. So there is no more fighting here.
Right now, as I speak, there is no war in northern Uganda. That is when we we experienced the brutal killing and then the trauma and stigma. It never went away until to date. I was gang raped by the LRA commanders. Not only one person raped me. I cannot count how many people. And it was difficult for me even to walk. I feel the back pain. I was forced to marry someone, very old man, which it was really very difficult for me. At that age, I was young.
Nyala Agnes. An kimara uno ati chergang kwano diko na ati kimara bungwe. Kikwanya kimia bod la cho madik mamara ne ti piara bishel kiwie. Chaka en perda o mwara pa en no kwala imo para na o mwara ya para be armada du kaiga.
Nagama para chel. E kaka ine o kono du dira ke rie ke ra ko ber ke ta ene ke dong ke rie nyara ke ngan man dong ber ne ene ngom chara banga
Magni an bore ni no tigi ma piar bi shelu ya ngwen la cho ma diet en to ka magni an bore na tigi ma para ngwen en no tila lu ko kon mona rio mati bot en jom kan ke le ma ka ngwen jom kan ma ka pa piar de ko ya ngwen bore kum dan pe de ka ngwen na ni.
They give you a big man to be your husband. Even you could not refuse. If you refuse, even they will cut your hair, also your mouth, also the leg, also the hand.
Mado per ka voro wachini mana chera bot pen kangara lon bona chana kwara wan pa lon bona chu wachini mana ka pate ka meto an kwani kena rio na kwan ko kito voro me kera lan kita no ni me du wo an choka ma voro we no mo na kena.
I wanted this girl, then they were looking for the tiny girl. He told the man, commanded the man not to use me. And I was forced. He used me. Yes. He had about that time 52 wives. When I escaped, he had about almost 63 wives now. To fulfill the needs of the men so that they don't leave the military. They know men will look for women. They might leave being supporting him.
Because they think if they do it like that, you will be pregnant. They left you with the child. That is another word for you. So you can be suffer like that.
Because the women will give birth and multiply and add the number of his militaries. And they will be trained as militaries, the children who are born.
So they have children, they are responsible for the children. It's like you are in a family. So they always go back into the bush. They fight, they go back because they have their families.
called Moses. I was born in 2000. My mother is a victim of LIA. She was abducted when she was 14 years old. She got my father from there, who was a rebel. My father forced my mom to sexual violence. Yeah. After her father died, there was a serious killing which happened around our home, around the village, around the camp where they were staying by the rebels. Now, the neighbors started suspecting that she was the one who brought the thing. But after that murder, I was neglected among the other friends. My friends were kids even. So I was rejected. I was never allowed to play with other neighbors' kids even. So I felt very bad. Okay, according to me, they started calling me Coin, because by then I never knew who was the leader of that thing. So they can call you Coin to mean that you are one of the people. Yeah. I said, hey, so this is who I am. This is who I am. This is what I passed through. So I felt it was very bad.
Some of them, the relatives, don't want the children born from captivity. Their parents are a rebel, so they call also them names. Sometimes they don't like them. Even people who are abducted during war, not all of them are being wanted in the community. They don't like some of them.
So they feel they can take away their properties again, as they had been doing in the rebels. And those children, again, which are born out of captivity, they fear them because they think they have the blood. They may come back home and kill them. So they don't want to mix with them properly.
This thing is still happening because even I did not see my father. I didn't see my father, and I just found myself in this situation now. So it is very, it's very painful. It's very painful because I don't have a dad even. Because knowing that my father was among the rebels and he was doing such things like sexual abuses. So all those things he did, it's some kind make me feel that I am the one who did it. I just feel that I am guilty, but there's nothing I can do now.
Gen ma mer wacha ne ira yeni eno ni po beru bal ma megi po beru timma ira ye timo but in bene gi nweli ken gi kore eno ento la tien pe penyo ka kwene ka mier gi nwale ni ye aka moye ken la tien ngata.
I came from the bush. Some people stigmatize me that I'm a bush lady. Really, my family, they did not support me. They say that I can bring for them problem. If I reach home, even I can carry the gun to shoot their children, even though I'm a children of theirs.
Kilua madwong eno weko ko loya makero weko wonatin en be fura fekere en kuring eno. Eta tamni po berimirna weka tiketa eno ni. Eto dano ge giluara non. Sika genen.
The committee was seeing them that they are the one who are killing people. So a lot of stigma, a lot of discrimination. So and yet you've been abducted and you are the one who didn't kill and you are being made force.
When you get a woman who has been in the bush and man has been using, it has a shame on you And when they realize, they can chase them away. You feel it's a shame to you, it's a disgrace, it lowers your dignity.
Yata tiere be pogo rwende kon nga cha kana no dong tuo ti kome HIV ki wai mun yak ku ni ano mun yak tam.
I got HIV/AIDS. The second man is the one who gave me HIV/AIDS. When I came back, the life was difficult for me. How to get treatment was difficult for me. All these things, it gives me traumatized. Life is not easy. How to survive is difficult.
Did the government do anything to support?
They do not give me the support.
Government money.
So I decided to look at this, how can our people best be supported? How can the children born out of war be supported? So we come up, we normally have stories, we talk about it, and then we bring new ideas. I need to begin, as a survivor, I feel the pain. I need to support them, be with them directly. That is why Golden Women Vision is.
1, 2, 3, begin.
Ma wɛɛg odo toa tagba ne diire na ramo berbe. Tam ma ki nyuago I Golden Women. Kiet ma ka wa guar wan pi wa ken wa logo mi na tek twin. Wɛɛg furne a beru kun a neno en ma chalo gi mo ma ti chalo a loga kuona.
La ti. Ngone kumbe ti chane. Chane ma na ti ni. Ti ka konya ganga. Ana tigulu tena ngwen. Ngoi kan ni an kana ki mucha na mara game ni, met ki cham met pa ore peram.
Most of the survivors are dying. They will die before getting the reparations. Something needs to be done, but we shall continue as an activist to push. And meet Kim Bogdong and receive this beautiful, wonderful, great Peace Prize, the grandmother.
모든 여성들의 차별과 억압, 폭력으로부터의 해방을 이루기 위해 헌신해 온 일본군 성노예제 피의자 김복동 할머니의 뜻을 이어받아 전시 성폭력 근절과 보편적인권으로서의 여성인권 보장을 위한 활동을 진행하였기에 이 상을 드립니다. 2018년 8월 14일 일본군 성노예제 문제 해결을 위한 정의기억연대.
어째서 오늘하고 수고가 많았고요. 열심히 사세요.
Which will remain in me to be strong and fight for justice and work as an activist throughout my life.
The problem King Bogdong went through, I know it very well, the same as me. We can survive from the survival time we passed through. We can be happy to stay now.
This is the beginning. From here up to that side, we are going with you to see the mark. From here, we shall go straight. Can we? All up to there is our land.
그 여성들이 이곳에서 자활하고 그 아이들이 안전한 곳에서 공부할 수 있는 그런 활동을 계속 해야 되겠다라는 어떤 결정을 하면서 김복동이라는 한 존재의 삶이 무엇보다도 전쟁으로 무참하게 인권이 짓밟혔던 한 여성의 삶이 죽는다고 해서 죽는 것이 아니라는 것. 수많은 아이들에게, 수많은 여성들에게 희망이 되고 평화가 되어서 그 여성들이 자기 자신들의 삶을 개척하면서 살 수 있게 만드는 나비로 그렇게 세상에 뿌려진다라는 것. 나비의 날개짓이 세계를 향해서 확산된다라는 것을 의미하는 것이기도 하고요.
Oh, it's very important. The world should know because we're also part of the world. Because the same suffering may be happening in some other world, and like the killing, like insurgency. So the insurgency that was in northern Uganda, other people in China or in America, they doesn't know. So this is the time they should know.
Each of us, we know the problem of any person among us. The way each person suffers, we know. This thing can be solved if there is no fighting, no war.
내 목숨을 걸어서라도 지키려고 하는 것은 국가가 아니야. 분명히 소위 애국 이런 것이 아니야. 진실이야.